Hear the beautiful music, the upbeat little toe tapper that's playing right there. It is the Football 360 show coming at you. Beautiful day in the Midwest, sunny, nice weather, nice and warm. I am JP Rock. He is Matt Bierman. Matt, how you doing today?
Doing great, JP.
Fantastic. We're going to be talking all things football. It's hard to believe we're heading into the last week of April, isn't it?
It's gone really fast, man.
It's going fast and a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to talk about it. Uh, Football 360 show is brought to you by Get Offered, getoffered.com, right? It's offered, get offered.
Getoffer.com. Yes, sir.
Right. So but the name of it is Offered.
Offered. Yep. In the App Store, it's offered OFFRD football recruiting as it'll pull up.
Absolutely. And it's an amazing tool to utilize for players who are being recruited. It's an amazing tool that can actually do other stuff. And you use it at the Elite Combine.
And
it's fantastic. You create player profiles right there at the Combine, and then use your player profiles to stay in touch with coaches, to keep track of all of that, right?
Right. And honestly, it's interesting. I was just meeting with, and we'll talk more about with Brian Baldwin from Lindenwood, talking about the mega camp, which that is a little over a month away.
Crazy.
So if you haven't registered, you need to register now. Just Google Lindenwood Mega Camp, and you'll get all the information. And I believe it's on our Elite Football site as well. But I will tell you,
one
of the things one of the tools we were looking at was camps, right? What camps are coming up? So we have a listing and Get Offered where you can actually go in and look at all the camps that are coming up, college camps, that is.
Right.
And honestly, those are the ones that matter the most, is when there's college coaches there. Like the KC varsity, there's going to be coaches there.
Yep.
The St. Louis Metro football coaches, there'll be coaches there. And Lindenwood is going to be gigantic, and there's going to be 400 coaches there. So
right. And so
you got to really start getting your camp plans together.
You 100% do, and all that's on getoffered.com. Get the app, and of course, it's also brought to you by Game Plan Strategies Football Consulting. Recruiting season is upon you. If you have not done anything with recruiting, you're in for some trouble. GPSfootball.com. Go ahead and get a free consultation with me. But next Thursday, April 30th, have something special coming up. Going to be doing a parent's guide to recruiting. That's going to be happening right there. It's going to be live. It's going to be a web workshop and a Q&A. And really, it's going to be all about the hows and whys and wins regarding recruiting and trying to, get that squared away, because parents just are, they're in the dark. There you go. Beautiful job, producer man.
Look at that there. You like that?
Look at that thing. Look at that guy right there in a suit and tie too.
Who is that guy?
I don't know. He cleans up pretty good though. That's a businessman right there. But yeah, yes, the parents guide to football recruiting process. What every parent needs to know before it's too late, and you really need to get on that. Get clarity and expert guidance. That would be me. Don't navigate recruiting alone. It's next Thursday, April the 30th. 2026 from 7 to 8 p.m. Reserve your spot. Go to www.gpsfootball.org, and there's going to be some Q&A too. So if you have questions about recruiting, which all parents do, then that's the thing for you. And I appreciate that. And thanks, Matt, for putting that up. And we are here. We're recruiting is going full bore. And like you said, you want to have coaches' eyes on you, and it really starts on May the 9th with the St. Louis Football Coaches Association Showcase.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, I think it's May. I'm sorry, JP. I think it's May the 11th. Let's see here.
Yeah,
May 11th. All the dates run. It's a Monday night. Just talked with Larry Frost earlier today with the St. Louis Metro Football Coaches Association. And it seems like there's going to be a good number of college. I think he said there was 50 college coaches there last year. Is what was the number? So
it was the biggest one yet last year. Yeah,
for $65, $75, whatever it is.
Right.
You're there for 2.5 hours. It's a smaller group of kids, probably one of the smaller ones you'll ever be, because I think we limit it to like 110 kids or right around there.
Yep.
Really good environment.
More
a lot of high school coaches there. You get a lot of reps.
More.
And the truth of the matter is, JP, like anytime you could be around college coaches, like I can tell you last year, there were coaches that kids got to see 3 times. They saw them at the Metro Coaches Association
Mm-hmm.
combine. They saw them at Parkway West when they did the KC varsity, and then they turned around and saw them at Lindenwood, a few weeks later. So there's no shortage of being exposed and having those conversations. But the truth be told, JP, so many of these guys, these kids don't even understand. Like, hey, I like I need to be seen by a college coach, but I also have to be ready to be seen by a college coach. You know what I mean?
Correct. And guess what? What you said about the college coaches seeing them at the showcase, at KC Varsity, and at Lindenwood, or whatever other camp, that gives them more opportunities to evaluate you, because they could be there, they could be at that camp, see you and be like, yeah, that guy, I don't know, there's something about him I like, but I don't know. And then they never see you again. Right. So if you go to those events, gives you more opportunities, eyes upon you, more opportunity for them to evaluate you. And we've seen it happen a lot. People go to the showcase, KC Varsity, Lindenwood, bam, offer at Lindenwood. It's the place to be to pick up offers.
Yep, 100%.
So 100%. All that's coming up really quick. I got my May 9th confused because that is the KC Varsity in Kansas City that I will be at. If you want to come up and see me there, I'm going to have a nice little table up there for you to pop in and say hello to me at that one. But so you got KC Varsity on the May 9th. You got the St. Louis Football Coaches Association showcase on May the 11th, which is a Monday, which is great. And then that following, and then you have the KC Varsity at Parkway West on May the 16th. Then the Big Daddy Lindenwood. A lot of opportunities for you. Unfortunately, I'm seeing some kids who are like, yeah, I'm going to go to this camp in July. And it's like,
yeah, okay.
July. And how do you think that that's going to work out for you?
Yeah, JP, here's the other thing. Show up and be ready. Like, how many of these kids show up and then they have no clue? Like, they just think it's just one of those things. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go. I have my camp stuff at my school. Then I'm gonna go to a couple colleges. And just let them, basically when I show up, I'm going to arrive and everybody's just going to offer me. Right. I mean, and like, and again, like getting offered and being a recruitable athlete and then being a guy that plays in college are totally different subjects, right?
All different things.
Getting offered is part of it. Like I was just talking with Coach Baldwin and we were talking about how so many of these kids are really like they're good athletes. They'll fool people and get offers, but then they're not even prepared to play college football. Like,
right.
So at some point you can only cheat the process for so long. And unfortunately, too many of these guys are, kind of focused on the wrong thing. They're focused on getting offers and getting exposure, but they're not focused on actually, playing the game of football. And I think that to me, like, I'll tell you, last night we had a really good group of kids training in here. Darius Smiley, right?
Yep.
Just got offered by Mizzou. That's a huge offer for a local guy to get as a sophomore, going to be a junior. And he's in here training.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is a sign that he's going to be just okay. He'll be just fine, And I think as a college coach that's extending offers, you want to know that stuff about guys, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And Darius is a good example, very talented. The 8th grader saw him at an 8th grader Chris Brooks St. Louis youth exposure camp. Invited him to come on into Elite. He came into Elite, started training, realized that we were talking about Darius was a 6'5", 250-pound guy in 8th grade, right? So he comes into Elite his first time, and it's an eye-opener. And anybody who goes there, it's an eye-opener, regardless of what level you're playing, because it's something completely different. And guys, everybody tells me I've never done this stuff before. Well, and that really speaks volumes about what's going on with development and high school football and stuff. They just don't have the time. You got to get it on your own. And so Darius comes in and does the year, has a good year, comes back. I mean, just night and day, right? Just putting the dedication in, coming to Elite for all that time. And then boom, he's really blowing up now. Had good camps, good UA Next camp, colleges are seeing them. Mizzou's offered, Wisconsin's offered, Iowa State. I mean, and so that's the snowball effect. And guess what? You're absolutely right. Darius isn't going to live off of that. Hey, man, he's just a sophomore right now. He's not going to walk the halls of St. Mary's and be like, I got offers and never show up. He came back in there last night, as you said, and he wants more. He knows there's more to it.
Wants more.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I think he's gotten bigger. He's getting stronger.
Yes.
I mean,
291.
That's a really smart offer for Mizzou.
Very
really
good offer. Very smart. He's been up there. They're doing pretty good with the local guys, I think. I think they're doing better than possibly ever before with the local guys. And not just in the 2027 class, but 2028. And they're showing the 2029 some love too.
Yeah, they're starting to get on those. That's interesting. Like all of a sudden, the freshmen are starting to get interest, right? I mean, obviously, it'll be a few freshmen, like 2029s. You'll see a few 2020 or 2030 guys, I guess. Starting to kind of peek in there.
Yeah.
But the 27s and 28s are on the clock. Like it's go time.
Oh, yeah.
It is go time. But yeah, the 20, and honestly, the kids need to be ready. Like there's colleges showing up at schools, giving out offers, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That's like a good thing, like to talk to people, because like what'll happen is you'll see, kids all of a sudden, posting like, hey, I got an offer. It's great to meet whoever, and blessed to say I got an offer from XYZ school. Now you and I know what that means, right? That's usually a placeholder, right? Because it's like you'll see some kids that get offers where kind of they're head scratchers, right? And you're like, well, that kind of came out of left field.
Right.
But typically you see what'll happen is you'll see at a school where there's a high level recruit that's getting a bunch of offers, that's like a junior or senior to be. That's where you usually see the younger guys getting offers, because that means that coach came in, he's looking to see who else you got in the bacon in the oven, right? Who's coming in and preparing. And that's a great opportunity for the high school coach to go in and kind of sell his program and let him know who he's got. And then those guys get those offers, and then usually that's a springboard. But I think the unfortunate thing is that some kids can really take that negatively and be like, well, I'm getting slept on, I'm not getting offers. Let me tell you, just because a kid gets an offer doesn't mean anything really in this day and age. Like it means nothing. I mean, it means absolutely nothing until you sign on the dotted line, right?
Yeah.
And so some of those guys getting offers might not have the grades. Some of those guys getting offers may not progress over the next 2 years or year. Some of those guys, like I saw a graphic the other day, JP, where it showed like for Division I FBS quarterbacks, and there was, let's just call it 33 spots were available, I believe they said. And there was 1,000 offers given for those 33 spots, meaning those never were going to be filled by the vast majority. Like there was like, I don't know, half of the schools didn't even take a quarterback in that class, in the 27 or 26 class, which means what? They brought in a JUCO,
transfer portal guys,
a transfer portal guy, or they brought in a, or they lopped off a spot and gave it to another position group,
right?
Because they just paid $2 million for the transfer last year, and they re-upped this contract. I mean, there's so many reasons why that can happen that parents need to be hip to the game. Like things have changed dramatically. Like you're not in the world of, yeah, my kid's a good football player, I'm just going to get an offer. It doesn't work that way anymore, JP.
No.
It is really incumbent upon the people that wanting to play college football to have their kids prepared, understand the process.
Got to have a plan. Yep.
You have to have a plan, and you have to be ready. Like at some point you have to play, right? I mean, it's like, watch all the stuff with the draft is going on tonight. And it's the same thing I always tell our NFL guys coming out of college. They leave college, they go to the pro day, they do their combine, they do the pro day. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm going to wait and see what happens. Well, the truth is, no, the draft happens. The free agents get picked up. And then within a week, you're practicing and playing football again. So if you haven't been preparing for football, you are screwed, because you're going to be under the most, intense, spotlight that possibly you can be, and magnifying glass. That's how guys get run out of camps real fast, because they're not prepared. So focusing on combine and training and development is one thing, but being a schooled football player with the skill sets that someone's going to pay you money for in college or in the NFL are two different things. You have to be prepared at the end of the day and never lose sight that they want you there because you can play football. And that's the problem, JP. I think a lot of these guys are so caught up in the fact that they're doing something with the whatever it is they're doing. Like, well, I'm going to get drafted. Well, that's awesome. Well, I got a scholarship offer. That's great. At some point, you got to put up or shut up and actually do what they're asking you to do. Otherwise, there's doors in the front of the entryway and in the back, and you can leave out either one. They don't care. They just want you to leave.
Yep. Yeah, they just want you to leave. And the other thing, as you say, you got to be prepared, and that includes guys. And I've run across this a lot, and it's something with GPS football that I do is guys have to wait for their opportunity for whatever reason, right? They're at the wrong school. They have players, upperclassmen. Some coaches want to play upperclassmen. Doesn't mean that you cannot be a guy as well, right? That's where being prepared happens. And that means, even if you're not the starter, but you know that you're good, you have to wait, you have to wait your turn. You have to have a plan. You have to follow. You have to be prepared. You have to get yourself prepared for when opportunity knocks. And so
100%.
you see that a lot. And you know what? This year, there's going to be some guys who pop up who are getting their opportunity as seniors, right? But those are the guys who really have to buckle down and be prepared and get themselves ready for when the season starts, right? They can go showcase themselves at camps, open some eyes, get some attention. And then, coaches really want to know about those first 3 games. You're a senior.
Yes, they do.
Those first 3 games are everything. That's where you want to be prepared. You can't just take your summer off just because you're working with your team. You have to keep training. And I know that's something that you see in the summertime, people will slack off, they'll vacation with the family, or they're doing, I'm working with my team, but that's not building your skills.
No, JP, it's not building your skills at all. And at the end of the day, that's what someone's paying you to do, is to play a position.
Yes.
And fill a role in their team.
Yeah.
Right. And truth be told, everybody's replaceable. Right.
Everybody.
And so, and they're now more replaceable than ever because they transfer portal. Right.
Right.
That's just the way it works. And so, unfortunately, too many kids get complacent and think they've made it when they have not even. They're in the front door. Right. They're not even through the main entryway to the main hall, the concert hall. Like, they're not there. And I think that's the problem, is all these skills that you possess as a football player, they're perishable.
Yes.
They're perishable. They go away. So you got to just focus on the things you can control. And if you can control those things and end up being a guy that can do the little things right over and over and over, then you're fine. You're going to be fine. So I don't know. It gets really depressing when you think about
well, we don't want to depress nobody.
The understanding of what kids really should be doing, and that because we're giving answers to them, you hope that they listen, right? You hope, but
you hope,
right? Doing different things.
Yeah, that's why you like to see dedicated parents who are there to back up and make sure that the kids do stuff, and that's something that with Game Plan Strategies, gpsfootball.org. That's what I do, help people have a plan, because, people do not have answers. I can't tell you the number of parents, moms, dads that I speak to along with their kids to help them realize that, they need a strategy, and they come to me and they just don't know what to do. They're just lost because there is no built-in help for people to figure out what to do, whether it's with the recruiting process or developing yourself as a player. And people should really start doing it, start preparing in middle school. It's not too young. It's not too early. It's never too early to start planning for that, because as Coach Bierman, as Matt Bierman said, a coach.
I've been called worse.
I know, as Matt says, I'm used to call you Coach Bierman to the players. As Matt said, it is more difficult than ever to be recruited. There's no more.
Nightmare. If you don't know what you're doing, it is.
Yeah, and that's even for the kids who are like the stud athletes who are anointed. You know, a bunch of 2028 St. Louis kids were just offered yesterday. West Virginia came in and was just dropping them like it was, like they were feeding the pigeons. You know, they were just drop.
So,
Here's an offer.
okay,
Here's an offer.
KP, question on that. I saw they offered 3 or 4 kids, probably all safety defensive back type kids.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, when you see that happen, what do you think? Well, they're all not going to be able to go to West Virginia. Like, okay, in all the years, so 20 plus years I've been doing this, we've only had one kid go to West Virginia, Chase Byrne from
Yep.
Lafayette.
Didn't Lionel Carr go?
Oh, you know what? For a year, you're right. A year,
Yep.
yeah, you're right. So 2 kids, 2
Yep.
kids. We actually trained both of them. Then Lionel Carr ended up at Indiana. How about that?
Yeah.
But he wasn't there when they won the national title the year before. But
Right.
but yeah, you're right. So like we've had 2 guys out of how many thousands of kids we've had come through
Yeah.
go to that school. That doesn't mean there might be 1 more, 2 more that go over the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But truth be told, like they offer, let's call it 4 safeties or 4 defensive backs, like all in the same class. What does that really mean? Those are placeholders. They're going to want to get you to camp. Like, I know that, it's interesting because I thought my son Braden had gotten a message from one of the coaches there about coming to their camp, and then he was going to be in town. So interesting, right? Because and I thought it was weird that he had gotten that because we don't see them in our area much. But I think in their mind, because it's Big 12, in SEC crossover Big 10 country, you have all those crossover guys. Like, in the end of the day, like we're in a position where we're a hotbed for a lot of athletes, right? Because people want to fight for this area. It's
And
interesting
growing,
seeing them coming in here, though.
Yeah,
really interesting seeing them come in because they have not been hard. But okay, so they're going to come to the mega camp and see these kids because most of those kids are not going to be able to make it to West Virginia for a camp,
right.
But Rich Rodriguez is back there, right? So he's back. He used to recruit this area. So
yeah, I do believe that I've seen them at the mega camp in the past. So they do, and interesting because they do come in. I know they've offered a bunch of the East St. Louis kids, which is a draw. I mean, it just keeps growing the amount of talent. I mean, it's crazy when you look at the 2029s. Like Braden. How many offers does Braden have? Braden has a couple of
two right now. Yeah,
2 D1 offers, right? Him, Tristan Johnson's another one. Another kid you're familiar with, Terrence Jones, right? He was just in your place the other day. Coach, he trains with Coach Palmer. Picked his first offer. How about this? USC offered number 1. And what's so funny is that I had him ranked as the number 1 freshman last summer in the 2029 class. And there were guys who may have picked up offers before him, but that's the whole thing about recruiting and rankings and stuff like that. The rankings don't matter, when it comes to it. Don't worry about getting ranked. Don't worry about that and the offer things because it comes to you. It's nice, just like you were talking about. Everybody wanted to post about their offers that they got yesterday. It's nice. It makes you feel good. It gives you options, but in the end, it's meaningless until you get closer to the rubber meets the road time. And you mentioned something. Let's talk about college camps, right? Because everybody I know is getting invites to college camps, and not all college, just like with all offers are not equal, not all college camp invites are the same. Some just have that shotgun spray, which is what I call what West Virginia did, offering 4 safeties from the same area. That's just a shotgun spray, right? Casting a wide net. They're fishing. And so they're casting a wide net to see what's out there. And so, the personal invites, a coach is following you and there's a personal invite, and that's really good. Everybody gets an offer. Everybody gets an invite, right? And, and some camps are huge. I mean, just huge. I remember back in the day, Mizzou would have like 600 people at one of their, and that was a satellite camp that they had that. But talk a little bit about the camps and the various meetings of what is a legit hey, we're interested in you camp versus, hey, we want you to show up and run and, you know, $6,500, whatever.
I think, I mean, this day and age, like you get a lot of these emails. I see them for Braden will get emails,
Mm-hmm.
from colleges is saying, "Hey, come to this," which means his name's on a database, right? He's
Yep.
one of 1,000 kids getting the email. If you get a text message or a DM or a follow, so I'll
Yes.
give you a real world instance. Like one of the camps that Braden has got, which is it would seem like a crack pipe, like crack pipe dream or whatever. You're like one of those deals
Yeah.
where you're like, okay,
Crackpot.
why would you want to go down to Alabama, right? Why would you even go there, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's had 2 different coaches send him invites to come to the camp. Okay. Then he's got a third person that just in the recruiting department just started following him, right? So you say to yourself, well, why would I? Why that's just come on, that's not realistic. You're a freshman. Alabama's way off the charts, right?
Yeah.
It's a dream school for almost every kid in the country.
Right.
But you would say to yourself, well, wait a second, why do I have these people following me since 8th grade, and now there's more people following, right? It's different people following,
Yeah.
and all within the recruiting group of people, because that's what they do. They have a big department of people that follows kids, but they track them and do all this stuff. It's just interesting. So then you say to yourself, well, wait, is that really worth my time going to that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to me, when you're getting signals like that, like, hey, multiple coaches have said, hey, come to this camp. That's probably a good sign that it's probably not a bad. It's look, you could get there and you could be like, man, it's a waste of my time. But at least there's some signals that say that's a good idea.
Yeah.
The other ones that where you got to be careful of this time of year is you're going to start seeing stuff that are non-college stuff that goes on during the summer. You
Oh
have to
yeah.
stay away from that. You have to, because the truth of the matter is these guys it's very opportunistic. Like you should be able to go to Lindenwood and see 400 college coaches. You should be able to go to, Mizzou, and they'll have other colleges there as well with them. Or you go to Iowa or Illinois or wherever you
William
want to
Jewell.
go. William
Yeah.
Jewell's going to have a big mega camp on
Yeah, we're going to talk about that soon.
the 10th. Yeah, I think it's the 10th of
Yep. June 10th. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think, getting a form email is pretty easy to see, right? And then if you get again, they're not technically supposed to be texting you. If someone's texting you, one, make sure that coach is a legit coach on that staff. I mean, double check their name and all that stuff. And 2, make sure that you're not just going on a wild goose chase. Be strategic. You can't be missing much of your high school football. You got to keep the main thing.
Yep.
But you also at the same time can't be blind to the fact that you're going to be leaving high school in 2, 3, 4 years, depending on what age you are.
Right.
And you have to start picking wisely. So I think a good mix is a mega camp or 2, mega camp. That way you get a broad brush and get to meet a bunch of different coaches. I think picking a few regional schools that you're really interested in that have shown some interest in you. But as you get older, you have to be very strategic. You cannot, I mean, you and I have seen it 1,000 times, kids going to the Mizzou camp when Mizzou already has a kid in your grade that they've offered. Why would you go? Okay, if you're a 27 quarterback, there's no reason to go to Mizzou this year, right? They have a commit. He's a hard commit. He's an Elite 11 kid who's going to the finals. I think you stay away from there, right?
Well, the only reason you should go there, the only reason you should go there is for the experience, or if you're possibly interested in a PWL, right?
Right.
If you think you can open their eyes and they're going to follow you, and possibly that's it. Because you're absolutely right. That's a hard pull to walk in as a 2027 kid, unknown.
Even if you're better, you're not going to get the offer, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you got to be realistic about it. So point being is that's not I mean, that could be, you could be at Duke or Illinois or Iowa, wherever. It doesn't really matter. The same scenario could be playing out in any school in the country.
Yep.
I choose Mizzou because I know for a fact they have a 27 commit,
right,
that they really like. They probably already negotiated a deal with him on his NIL and all that stuff. So no, you're not going to overcome that.
You're not going to overcome that. My thing would be, like I said, the experience plus it's not a for sure thing till it's a for sure thing. I'm sure
Right.
that Mr. Warren, the quarterback you're talking about, he's a 2027 kid, right? That you're talking about,
Yep.
Warren. Really good quarterback. He's going to be having everybody coming after him, especially as a so they could pull him. So if you want the
True.
experience, you know, you want to get your name out there for a possible PWO, then that's in that scenario, just like with Alabama, right? And Braden. I would, you know, consult you and be like, yeah, absolutely go. You got all those people you're talking about following you. They know you, right? You're not showing up cold. Plus, what an experience, you know,
Right.
to be able to go down there. You're on some, you know, some rare air down there just to see everything that goes on and get your name out. And you know, it doesn't hurt that Braden's really talented and one of the top quarterbacks in the Midwest, you know, not just in his grade. But I was watching film of him train, and it's just amazing. He's such a I love quarterbacks that play quick, right? He is such a quick, twitchy, athletic kid, and he does everything fast. There's no hesitation, there's no waiting. I don't know where he learned that from.
Hey, for me. Well, he might have learned it from me. He didn't get it from me. How about that?
There you go. But that knowledge that he has, the training and the technique that he has, combined with his athleticism and his playing with a sense of urgency, man, you know what I mean? That's that.
I think it is interesting because like when you look at quarterback play, it has evolved so much in the
Mhm.
last number of years, and I would say devolved in some regards, right? Because of
Yep.
these colleges only get like they get a guy in their system for 6 months. Like Fernando Mendoza was there for 6 months at
Mhm.
Indiana and still won a national title.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, the core skill sets that a quarterbacks need to possess, like you just described about Braden, and there's a lot of other quarterbacks like that, but they're probably few and far between as far as like guys that actually make quick decisions, have that
Mhm.
twitchiness that they're looking for. Like, I mean, talking to Brian Baldwin today, like their quarterback situation, they have a guy Pops Battle that'll be the
Yeah.
starter. And he can extend plays, and I think that is the name of the game now. Is can you get the ball out of your hand to who you need it to go to,
Right.
and if something goes awry, can you extend the play? And you know, back in the day, a Big Ben Roethlisberger could extend the play because he was, like a lineman playing back there.
Right.
You don't see those guys anymore. The extending of plays is more the Mahomes style of play
Right.
where they move the pocket, they have option routes. He checks the ball down to a guy, an option or choice route, and then they extend the play, and it's very difficult to defend, right? And
Mhm.
almost impossible to defend when you do it the right way. So, but yeah, I think in regards to like quarterback play, I think if you find athletes that are twitchy, right, and then to your point have that sense of urgency about what their game is and what the intent of the play is, then they are dangerous. They're really
Very
dangerous.
dangerous.
And
Yeah.
I will say in the training aspect, like with Braden in particular, I don't ask him. Very rare do I have to ask him to go fast, right? Do I have
Mhm.
to like spur him like a
Mm.
horse and like check him? And my younger guys, I
Yeah.
will tell you, when they're learning, they are not cognizant of the speed they're moving at, so their
No.
brain is like trying to process and go a
And
little
that's fine.
slower,
Yeah.
right? And right, that's part of the process.
Yep.
And then, like I had a young man last night, really good little quarterback, and we were doing some just evade moves, and he was kind of going through the paces, and then finally, as I felt like he was at a point where we could really start cranking it up, I started kind of like prodding him, right? Like, hey, we have to really feel the defender there. We got to move as if the defender is coming after us, right? Though that speed you're at right now, you're going to be roadkill, right? So we got
Right.
to
Yeah.
speed it up. So as they start to learn and get those skill sets, then you could crank it up. And then at some point, to your point, they're already you're already in the point where like they're going fast, right?
Yes.
They're doing it naturally. And I think that's what you're looking for is you want to see guys I think the film you're talking about, like we did a drill the other night, like literally it's like an off of a circle
A
drill. It's
circle drill. Yeah.
very difficult. Very
Yes.
like you let me tell you,
He was making it
not
look easy, man.
oh dude, but I'm telling and so we added like a wrinkle to it because then his receiver Liam Corrigan
Mhm.
who was out just moving randomly. So when he turned the corner, You got to get your eyes around and find them, and then there's that centrifugal force of running around a circle.
Yeah.
You're trying to hold your body in line, and it's just difficult, right? And so things like that you try to like impress upon their brain and body, like to make it hard for them, because you know that it's going to make it easy for them in a game, right? And so those things, JP, we probably did that drill for 45 minutes running in circles, like, and
Hey,
like, I don't know if you people can like understand, like,
appreciate it.
Appreciate how tired your feet are, and like
Oh
your
my
feet are
God.
burning,
Yeah.
but the reward for the quarterback is I get to throw the ball at the end of it, right? And
Yeah.
so they're like dogs, like golden retrievers. So it's like, I just want to throw more balls. I want to throw more balls. And so when you find guys that want to do that, they're fun to train. I mean, I'm pretty fortunate in the sense that, he's my son, but he
Mhm.
listens still. But that
Right.
father-son thing can be
Yep.
a real treacherous
Yep.
deal.
Right.
I try to pick my battles,
It's a
right? I try
tightrope.
not to, like it's a tightrope, but I would say that he still listens very well, because I
Yeah.
will say I think it's because he wants to be good. I think he wants to be great. I
He
think
wants it.
that's it. And so I think those are the things I wish you'd clean his room up, stuff like that. But like throwing the football, we got that one figured out. So
Hey, priorities, Matt. Priorities.
yeah, priorities. I mean, yeah, I'll leave that to him and his mom. How about that?
Exactly.
Let them figure it out. Hey, we got a question.
Yep.
So has there been any other middle school players that have impressed you as much as Brandon Shepard and Blaine Gabbert? That's a great question. I would say,
Sure is.
JP, you've seen so many middle school guys. I mean,
Yep.
you know all the middle school guys
Right.
when they're coming through. I mean, we have conversation. I mean, how else do you have lists of guys? Are you
Correct.
naming a running back?
Right.
When he was in 7th and 8th grade, and then he ends up getting an offer from USC. I mean, that
Exactly.
is having an eye. I would say the funny story, Brandon Shepard. I saw he's still playing indoor football.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm like, Brandon. He's running into walls and all that stuff. He's a grown man. He's got to be 35 years old now.
Yeah. It's hard to give up, though. You know what I mean?
100%. But to answer your question, I would say I have, and I'll let you give your top group of middle school guys.
Mhm.
I've seen more unbelievable middle school players that turned into being average high school players than I've
Right.
seen unbelievable middle school players that were unbelievable high school players. Would you say? I mean, there's been so
Yeah.
many, kids that were like the anointed ones in middle school that ended up being not so good, where it's like, I'll give you a name of a kid that I remember, and I played against them coaching, and they had one kid on their team that was like a little older and bigger and stronger than everybody else, and everybody talked about him. And
Mhm.
I used to be like, no, that left tackle's the kid that's the deal on that guy. That's the team. That's the guy who's going to be the guy on that team.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Michael Wergers from Eureka. I mean, he is JP. I mean, I watched him as like a 5th or 6th grade. I'm like, who in the heck is this kid? Right? Like,
He's
strong.
and you want to know what? He's my number one offensive lineman in his class.
He should be. Yeah, I would agree. Like JP,
Yeah.
watching his trajectory
Mhm.
in middle school, I can tell you when they put him on the offensive line, I was like, oh, great. That's smart. They put him on the defensive line. I'm like, we got a problem, right? So now
Right.
you got this big kid chucking, my little lineman out of the way, and then getting his hands up, and batting balls down, like legitimately athletic enough to do both sides of the ball. It probably still could do that at Eureka, but he will be in the long line of Eureka offensive linemen, which, it's unbelievable the amount of guys they've had come out of there. And we've got a great relationship with all those guys that have come through there. It's just a really good Coach Sumner does a really good job, got a great program, but he's the next in line. I would say he's another guy that on the field, there was probably people who thought, oh, he's just a big, strong kid.
Right.
No, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this kid is a high level. So oddly enough, we're at Kansas this at the end of the season for a game day visit, and guess who's there? Michael Wergers.
Yeah.
Then we go down to a Mizzou game or practice spring, the junior day. Who's there at the junior day? Michael Wergers. So I think the colleges are pretty smart in finding those guys, right? And I would think that he's a kid that's going to only get better year in, year out. But who's your Who's the best middle school guy you've
Oh
seen that ended up
gosh.
being really good in high school?
I gotta tell you what, Sheldon Richardson was pretty darn good as an 8th grader.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
he
you
ended
know
up
what I
pretty
mean?
good.
And what's funny is, he was a doughy little kid, but you could already see just his quickness, his agility, and he was all, I mean, he was always big, right? He was a little doughy back then, but just the ability he had, to be 6'2", 6'3" as an 8th grader, 280 pounds, and to be able to run like a running back, run like a receiver. He was a heck of a tight end. I mean, I
Oh,
don't know if you ever
he was
saw
a
his.
kicker.
He
He
was a
kicked off.
kicker. He did everything, and just a affable, good kid. And he didn't even know how good he was. And what was funny about that was I saw the other kids kind of picking on him. You know what I mean?
JP, I will pull up because now I know how to pull up and put the videos on here.
Yeah.
I will pull up. I'll find some old footage of him pass rushing in here
Oh
in
yeah.
high school
Yeah.
and show the people what it looked like. He was a grown man
Yeah.
with a bunch of little boys, right? And
Absolutely. Run.
so we have this drill that we do called the chaos drill. It's a 4-cone drill. There's 4 defenders, 3 receivers, and right. He would always love because he would love to get into that as a receiver, right?
Yep.
So
Great hands.
one day, I think it was a quarterback, Steven Kaiser, who ended up going to SMU, hell of a quarterback at
Yep.
DeSmet. He he rifled the ball like probably too close to the group because usually the quarterback's like 15 yards away. He rips this ball like through the square, and Sheldon's in the back of it, right? Everybody else kind of ducks because they don't get hit by this ball. And Sheldon reaches and just catches it
Yep.
just by the point, and his
Yeah.
arm doesn't move at all, and his hand
Right.
doesn't move at all. And I'm like, oh my God. So oddly
Yeah.
enough, I turned around, I think Monday of this week, and his brother, Sean Richardson, who trained
Yeah.
and did some stuff in here, he was older than him. Who really kind of set Sheldon on his path because he was a hell of a player himself.
He was.
He walked in, he's moving back into town. He was just going to get his son. So
Nice.
he's
That's
got a
crazy.
son who's like 11. And
How
he
old
said
are
to me,
we?
I think, oh my God. But I said, how is he? And he goes, oh, he's pretty good. He goes, he's playing defensive end and maybe tight end or something like that. And I
Yeah.
said, well, is he
Runs
good?
in the family.
He goes, yeah, he moves pretty well. I go, oh yeah, I would imagine that's probably does. You moved really well, and so does Sheldon. So,
Right.
but yeah, I think that middle school question is a great one because it's so fun to go watch that age because it's so pure
Yeah.
and fun, and you get to see like
Love
the
of the
kids that are
game.
kind of come of age, and yeah,
Yep.
and there's like, there's some guys that take it too far, some coaches take it too far, obviously, and get too over the top. But you know what? I always tell like the referees and the people there, like these kids work their butts off the same as everybody else throughout the week. Like they these games mean a lot to them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they want to get there and have a good experience. So like they're working too. It's not like they're a diminished capacity because they're not in high school, they're not playing
Right.
in college or pros. I mean, like they're kids, they're having fun, they're enjoying the game. But at the end of the day, JP, I think if you have a kid that's really good in middle school, the trap is real similar to the trap that's like these kids getting offered
Oh yeah.
like in high school. If they get offered and they stop working, you might as well just rip that, just the thought of the offer should just go away in your mind because it doesn't matter. Like they're done. Like they are done. Like they do not get anything else coming their way because they're not going to be prepared when they get there. Like college football is an elite invitation only environment, right? And
Small
if you're not
club. Yep.
prepared, it's a very small club. And obviously the NFL is even more elite, but that's the truth. Oh, we got other questions. What's your favorite Jeremiah Love story? And when did he start training? So he started coming in like late 8th grade and then early into high school. And I remember, I think it was one of these deals I was talking to his dad and I just said, yeah, you got something here, right? And so the story with him was really good growing up, right? Obviously, he gets to CBC. CBC's got a lot of guys there. As a freshman, did a great job. Then as a sophomore, he kind of got dinged up, but then got hurt. And I remember talking to his dad, And even as junior year, he was not playing a ton. They had a couple other running backs, which I can't remember who they were, and they ended up putting him in against maybe it was East St. Louis or somebody, whoever it was. He
Yeah.
had an unbelievable run. And I think he had still kind of been dinged up at that point, but that was kind of his coming out party. But I remember seeing his dad, and I had told him, I said, "Hey, your son is a high level college football. Like it's not even up for debate. Like he is up like this. He is going to be special. He's like a Ferrari, right? It's
Yeah.
a very, very, very rare vintage. There's not a lot of guys walking around like him." And I remember seeing his dad probably his junior year, and he looked at me. He's like, "Do you still think what you said is true?" And I looked at him. I said, "Absolutely. Like he's not like nothing's changed." I mean, and that's the tough thing because when you get hurt and you're not feeling great and your body's not working all that well for you, and you're kind of out of sight, out of mind to the coaches, even though they know how talented you are, they can't use you because you're hurt. You start to question yourself, right?
Yeah.
And it's easy to do, but he's a guy that JP, I think it's so easy to see. I mean, his first step acceleration is as smooth and as an explosive as you're going to see in any athlete. Like it is
Yeah.
wicked. It is very unique.
Super smooth, a lot of power, man. He's a powerful kid, explosive. My favorite would be his performance at the Elite Combine. I mean, he was just put on a show, just him. And what was funny about it was him and Ryan Wingo. And it was just like, your eyes were popping because it's like, holy mackerel. This guy's jumping 41 inches as a, high school player on a vertical jump. This guy's, got a 10, whatever, broad jump. That group was really good. So the all-stars, the MVPs of that one was Ryan Wingo, Jeremiah Love, Kai Roberts-Day, who went on to Baylor, and Ty Gant, who went to Northwestern. That's not a bad group.
Yeah, pretty good group. Yeah, I'd say that was good. But yeah, he's the unique thing about him too. Like Notre Dame was the perfect place for Jeremiah Love,
Yeah.
right? He's very intellectual, very, very just very
Really good
smart.
kid.
And I can
Quiet.
tell you, I remember his dad walking up to me and saying, "Hey, just so you know, if you ever the NIL stuff, you ever want to do like do a little commercial for you guys or wherever you want." He's like, "It's my pleasure."
Right.
Right. And he also made the comment, and us, like I'm just like, no, we're not gonna like that's just not like that's not our
That's not
style,
your
right?
thing.
It's
Yeah.
not our style. So, but he made the comment of, we didn't choose to go there for the money. We went there for the the network and the experience of Notre Dame, and they'll take care of you if things go well.
Right.
Well, I've had it relayed to me, and I won't say exactly the number, but what they got him to go there for, like
They got a deal.
oh my God, the deal of the century,
Deal
right?
of the
But I
century,
think they do that with everybody. But then by the time he left, he was getting paid fair market value.
Right.
And I think to me, when you trust
Nothing
in your
wrong with
skill
that.
set,
Yeah.
and I think that to me, there's a beauty in that because
Yes.
that tells me mom and dad got their wire correctly. He's a very intellectual kid. He's got, I think, at one point he was talking about medicine, stuff like that. I mean, he's very, very gifted when it comes to that. So I think, and then Notre Dame is no joke. I mean, the athletics obviously is no joke, but neither is their academic rigor, right? It's not,
Right.
You're not there with, as the kids, we've had numerous kids go there over the years. They're like, oh yeah, like these kids like that are at Notre Dame to go to school. It's no joke. Like they're there. They're very intelligent.
Got another Missouri kid in the chamber ready to be shot out of there. Aeneas Williams from Hannibal. Gonna follow up. Yeah. I mean, it really did help Jeremiah, in my opinion, that they had like a 3-back stable, 3 running backs that they use, and he was one of them. Saved his legs. If he had been at a bunch of other schools, a lot of other schools would have just rode him and wore him down. He was so fresh, getting into Notre Dame, and with his athleticism and everything just worked out just right. That does it for us, man. We're out of time. We're actually a little over. Go ahead and tell people where they can reach you and about Get Offered.
Get Offered. It's GETOFFRD.com. And then on socials, it is, I'm going to put them up here real quick. Elite Football on X and Elite Football Academy on Instagram. Also, I'm going to tease something we got coming down the pipe, and it's probably one of the things that like we've worked on for years with our athletes. One of the biggest issues we have, JP, is kids gaining weight.
Mm-hmm.
We've had so many kids, like like especially in those formative years from 14 to 17.
Yeah.
Whether it's the kid that's 200 pounds that needs to be 225, or the kid that's 135 that needs to get to 155, right?
So it's gaining weight.
Gaining weight, and that's a huge problem we've seen with our kids is putting
not being
like,
able to.
Yeah, they just can't. They don't eat enough. They don't know what they're eating and how they're eating, and like why they're eating. We've got a tool that's coming out that is, I'm gonna just tell you, I think it's pretty revolutionary as far as like what it does and how
I saw it. Yeah,
it's pretty wild. We've been testing it with some of our kids, but I got some of our pro athletes and college guys are now like, I need that because wherever level you're at, there's weight loss or weight gain depending on what they need you to do. So
right.
I'm just teasing that because that's something that we're going to be able to show, coming up here before long.
Yeah, it's very cool. I got a chance to look at it, and it was pretty cool. You can reach me at JP Rock MO on X, JP Rock Scouts U on the Instagram, at JP Rock at gpsfootball.com. Go check out GPS Football Game Plan Strategies, Football Consulting, Recruiting, gpsfootball.org. And next Thursday, catch me on a live webinar. It's a workshop for parents. If you could go ahead and pop that back up for me real quick, Matt, that'd be cool. As you see my my socials scroll right there. Next Thursday, 7:00, April 30th, the Parents Guide to Football Recruiting Process. It's a live virtual workshop hosted by me, JP Rock, and it's what every parent needs to know before it's too late. Get the experience. I'm going to be there. Don't navigate recruiting alone. Thursday, April the 30th, 2023. Reserve your spot at www.gpsfootball.org. Great time as always, man. We had a little technical issues, a few technical issues.
We got over it. We got the camera.
Man, we work around stuff, right? We know how to handle it. But great as always. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. And Matt and I will talk to you soon. Take care. See ya.